Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Solomon Cooper. I'm an electrical engineering intern here with EasyPower. Today's webinar we're going to be looking over schedules and elevations. So for anybody out there that is not aware, we offer a means to simplify your large messy one-lines with schedules. So more or less you can define all of your loads, all of your connection types, all of your protection inside the schedules. We also have what is called an elevation, and you can apply those to MCCs and switchgear and switchboards. Looks like I included panels here, but those are not included in elevations. And we'll look at that last today. So in the EasyPower schedules, you're going to find that there are multiple templates that you can access. This one here, when you go into, say, a panel, you can actually take a look at both sides of your panel schedule. You can take a look at either the left or the right side. And by default, we also have a simplified version, which is basically going to show you your protection or your breaker ratings, as well as the total load that you're supplying on each of those panels. We also have a separate item here for switchgear and switchboard. They are separate templates, and we'll take a look at the templates as well. Currently, they are accessible through or editable through any notepad editor, any HTML editor, or XML editor that you might have. Here is also an MCC schedule that we have available. Again, they are a little bit different. We'll take a look at them, and they're totally definable depending on what you're looking to accomplish or provide the software. So let's get into EasyPower here and take a look at these. So this is a previous one line that you may have seen that I've been developing, and here we have an MCC. So you will see that last schedule that we look at. But first of all, I want to show you the default settings. So when you get into your options, you can set the template that you want. So if you come in and you end up creating a custom template, you can define these under your default templates here. And the way I got to that is you just click on options. If you're in database edit, you can also just right click on the one line and you can access the file locations here. If you want to define a new MCC schedule once you've edited it, then you can just click on this entry bar and this browse option, and it's going to lead you to your file explorer, and you would just select the file that you've edited to the point that you'll have the ability to select the item that you've edited. So when you access the MCC, you're going to get this screen here, and we provide the schedules, or the ability to define what's going to be in the schedules through this description tab. So what you can end up doing, just select that description tab. You can define what you're going to see in the description tab here under configure, and you're going to see all these items here. So I have a separate schedule that I just developed for cables specifically. I've included the conductor type, the number of phases, type of insulation, size, material, so on and so forth. But this is really up to you. So any information that you see here, you can include in the schedules by default, and you will supply that information when they are selected. So this is the cables here. I haven't defined any cables in this schedule. However, we do have loads defined. So in the schedules, you can walk through these here with me. We're going to have the section space, which you may include a front. You may have rears access to your panels or to your MCCs as well. I've included equipment name, different library loads, and here you can turn your loads on or off. So when you define these items in your schedule, you can actually turn them on or off depending on what you would like to provide as a static load in your system. And then once you've changed your loading, you just want to make sure, and you come in here and you go to summary and you calculate all of your downstream loads. So if we go back into the description, you can also define your load types. In MCCs, we have VFDs, sub-MCCs, sub-panels, motors with TCCs, loads, and VFDs with TCCs as well. You would want to define the largest motors and loads and their protective device in a schedule so that you can coordinate upstream. We also have group motors that you can define in the schedules here. So we have description, load locations for easier access, commenting type, load class, different code factors that you may want to apply, your demand factors, all of the load specifications for motors, any static loading, capacitive loading, and then we have our protective devices here as well. Mostly just fuses in this. I believe that since it is an MCC, we're going to see a lot of that. Here we have near the end of the protective device and starter information, we have these column numbers and starter space. These help define the elevations, which we'll get into a little bit later here. And then we have our conductor information that you can include as well. So you can jump around the schedule here with these bottom tabs. Motor specifications is going to bring you to the motor specifications area, capacitance, loading, protective device, and conductors. So again, when you do redefine any information in your schedules, make sure you go into the summary and recalculate the downstream load. It's primarily for power flow, but it's good to make sure that those items are updated later on. So these do exist as well for panels. It's a little bit different in terms of view. You still access it under the description tab. But we do have the multiple views here. So we have the detailed right side, which is going to be the right side of your panel. We have a view that you can see both sides, and we have the tabs as well, similar to what was in the MCC. And you can scan through these with this scroll bar to view your loads or redefine anything that may have changed on your panel. Here as well is a simplified view. You're going to see your loading combined per panel level, and you'll see the total amps per side and your protection rating on your breaker. You can also, in both the MCC and panel schedules, redefine what you are looking at, whether you're looking at power or amps. And again, you can configure this as well in terms of information that you'd like to include or remove. So again, always make sure to keep that downstream load calculated. And these are also offered in switchgear and switchboard and panel boards. More or less what when you're creating your bus is you come into this tab here as long as you have either a switchgear type included, a switchboard or panel board. the load does, or the different, there are a little bit of different options in this, in the panel board versus switchboard and switchgear. However, primarily you're going to be seeing the same thing, and those items really are mostly different for the equipment elevations. So in the switchgear, if you want to enable the panel or the schedules for a switchgear, switchboard, panel board, you want to select this tab here, which you can access through the edit or the database information, and you want to enable the switchgear spreadsheet. That's done by just checking or clicking on this box, and then generally you're going to see that these are blank. I'll show you here in a second. But you can calculate the downstream load immediately, and it's just by the click of a button. It's going to fill all your loading information in. You still may want to include identification name, section information, and descriptions of what you are looking at. But primarily you're going to have your entire downstream load already defined for you. Again, you can create those elevations. We'll look at that in a second here. Right now, we'll go back over to the panel board. I'll show you how these actually react when you initially go into one. So I have a panel here. I believe I haven't defined yet. Excuse me. Sorry. And so this one, yeah, it has not been defined. So when we select this enable spreadsheet, there is no information provided at this time. However, we can select the calculate downstream load, and that is going to supply all the loading that exists downstream. In these you can also, I want to make sure I mention this, your device that you're looking at. So whether it's a main, a tie, or a feeder, you can help define what is coming in or going out on your load or in your schedule. So I mentioned that we do have the templates that are available. I do want to take a look at those real quick for you. Let me open this back up. Okay, and so here we have our EasyPower schedule template variables. Now these are pretty much the same for most of the templates. We still are able to access these through notepad editors of sorts, any text editor. So anything that includes a rich text format, you're going to end up supplying some garbage of sorts, I guess, for lack of better words, into the templates when you save it. So it is really important to make sure that you save it as with the panel or with the schedule extension that you're specifying. And it is a text document, so make sure you don't save that as a rich text format. Otherwise, it will provide some extra materials per se. So these schedules are generally by default located at this location at the top of the screen. You have the program data, EasyPower 9.5, and then in your schedules folder there, you're going to find all of your schedules that have been defined. So the variables that exist here, more or less, you can go through them as well yourself at a later date, but we do have different specifications, ID names, project names. It looks like the lowercase file name is obsolete, and so in the future we're not using that anymore, and it may make things difficult to try to import templates into the future versions of EasyPower. So try to stay away from anything that you notice says obsolete in here. We also have grid information. These help you define your schedule grid when we do get into, or when we are defining the panel schedule or switchgear schedules. We also have our breaker information, conductor ratings, loading information, code factors, total connected load, demand load, design code, design loading, and then short circuit ratings. So these I didn't show you, but I will here shortly. Again, these are some more variables that exist. I think some of these are specific under the grid for MCCs. So if you are looking at MCCs specifically, make sure to take a look at this. They're also located in the help menu. Just search under variables in the help menu, and you should be able to find some of these. A little example here on going into the XML code and the schedules, and basically we have the XML is a derivative of HTML. It's a hypertext markup language, or a hypertag markup language is what they call it. And so you have these little tags that go into the code, and more or less you're looking at TR and TD. The TR, it begins a row, and you're going to want to place it in those little brackets as well in the code. You'll see here in a second what I'm talking about. And then when you end a row, you more or less just throw in that / prior to your hash or hypertag, and that is going to define it. So we do have this example here just below that with the alignment and the span of your grid. So you would define your grid there. TH, it looks like I didn't include that, but that's going to be your dimensions of your grid. So you would define your row span is equal to 2 units, and your column span is 3 for the type of information that you're looking at. The name of the item, whether it's MCC, panel, switchgear, switchboard, you'll define that with name. Manufacturer is defined there as well. Now on the right side there, please notice that the items inside the main grid are defined with these grid tags, and the next row command, that's going to allow you to jump to the following row in your schedules. So let's take a look here at a template that I have. So here we have just our MCC schedule. You're going to find this in that location, the default location that I was talking about, and it's for MCCs. We just named them with a file extension, EZ MCC. Your panel boards are going to be EZ PBD, and so on and so forth down the list there. So there are some settings, properties that exist within the grid. If you want to come in here and edit it and include or exclude different types of information, you just come in here. Let's say we want to get rid of or rearrange some of the information. We would say select these 3 items and move them to the top of the list. We can copy those and just paste them under the column settings, and you can keep it clean. It shouldn't really make a big difference. It's just a little bit more legible later on. So we can redefine these, the number, size, and horsepower. And if we look at that MCC schedule back in EasyPower after we save this, then we'll notice a difference. Let's see. So I took the number and size and threw that into the front there. So we'll want to make sure that we accomplish that down here as well. So we just come up here, save it. If you're editing an existing, you can save it as a new item. Let's just save this one as MCC Schedule 2. We'll save it. And back in EasyPower, we are going to want to go into the default options, file locations, and instead of this MCC schedule, let's take a look at MCC schedule 2. Here we go. So it did rename it as a TXT file. We can rename this, and let's just delete that TXT extension and say yes, and we'll open that one up and say OK. And now when we go into, we can go into the description tab, and we have our information here. So it doesn't look like our template has changed any. However, when we actually are exporting these, what we want to do is either export these schedules. We can insert the schedules in our one lines. As I showed you a couple weeks ago, we do have that ability in drawings. So we would want to include that, and I don't know exactly if this is conveying the correct information now, but looks like yeah, it wasn't pre-made, and I don't know if the conductor sizing, the number and size are there now based on what we did, but they may have not existed previously. So let's take a look at another one here. We are looking at the configuration. We go into the cables. We just changed that config file, and we can insert the schedule again this time. Looks like it's the same. So it is something that you have to play around with a little bit and get your hands dirty. So if you do have difficulty, you can give us a call. We have tech support that's always available if you do have assistance that you're looking for. So what I was showing you there is that you can right click on any of these items. You can insert schedules. You can also merge these schedules together with an Excel file. That's pretty handy in the sense that you basically define where the Excel file is that you want to include all of your schedules at. And so not a lot of folks actually use this, but it's really handy if you go into if you're going into your one line or single line diagram, and you're changing some of the loads around, you're changing some of the tools that you're using, it's important to come in here and take a look at this tool. So let me show you how to get in here again. You right click on the MCC, you select schedules, and you want to have an existing Excel file pre-developed where you're including all of your schedules, but you define that here with the Excel merge options. And then when you I don't have one specified, but when you can merge all of your Excel data or all of your schedule data into a single Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file. And so this is really cool because any changes that you make, you basically just update that here in your database, and then you can merge all of your Excel spreadsheets or all of your schedules. There also is this ability, you can export your schedules. Generally this is for say DXF files, primarily AutoCAD. You can also export these as XML files here, which you end up opening with Excel, and then you can adjust it as you see fit there. So if I was to open up all of these, we'll create our Excel file. Let's save it on the desktop here. And we'll open that file. So this one looks like it's coming up in AutoCAD. There we go. So here's all of the schedules of my model, and you can just go through here and take a look at all of them. I'm not going to go into too much depth here, but this is just an example of the export option in the tool itself. So let's close out of here, and get back into EasyPower. If you do want to export that to an Excel spreadsheet or to some sort of spreadsheet tool similar, maybe OpenOffice, I believe is a free utility that you can get offline. Those are available to everybody if you don't have any of the Office suites. And you would just export those again. You can select here, export your schedules. You can also print these schedules on your printer, and that's really the majority of the options with the tool. Let's see. So you can get in there, you can edit them. It may be something that you have to play around with a little bit. We do have the option for the elevations still. I haven't shown you that. So let's continue on with these here. So this is an elevation. I hope the visibility isn't too bad, but this is an elevation of an MCC. So more or less this is just to assist, as I said earlier, with conveying where certain items are, what your MCC is connected to, and where, and so anybody that comes in, if they haven't been in your facility, they know where to go. It's like a map, I would say. So we'll take a look at these here real quick, back in EasyPower. And so for MCCs, we have our equipment elevation here. We've defined our loads, and we go into the elevation tool, and so this is just the front side of this MCC. You can continue to alter these as you see fit. You come in here, you can change your wire weight coloring, change any coloring for blank items or items that you may have not defined or that may have spacing, and then bucket coloring. You can also define your font colors or your font type and size. You can choose to include what type of information you want as well. So we have your equipment name, section name. You just select that and choose false if you don't want to include it, and it automatically refreshes in the elevation as you see on the left there. The description can be included, the size of your loads or motors, and even the amperage here. So comments can be included if you want to include those. This display option here, you can define whether this is the amount of room that you have available there, and that'll adjust automatically as well. You can also choose where your column wire would go. So we have our right side and our left side, or no column wire. This is a column-based MCC. You can also adjust a switchgear. Now we have elevations for switchgear, switchboard, and MCCs. In the switchgear here, you can actually define these as row-based or column-based. So here I've defined our column number and row space. So as you see, column number 1, I've saved that specifically for the main, and we take up that entire column. So when we go over here to the equipment elevation, here's our main. And on the right side here we have our loads, downstream MCCs, motors and loads. And again, we can define specific information, alter the coloration of the wireways, and change your bucket color as well to something that might be more appealing. So again, you can also adjust the wiring, and we also have this row-based information. Now, as you see here, when we go from column-based to row-based, we end up with our column space. And so we have left, right, and 2 for these. So let's make these both one on the right, one on the right, and go into the elevation. Now it looks like we we provided too much information here, we can get rid of, say, the description, and it looks like it fits now. So it's a tool to get into and play around with. Like I said, I always like to get my hands dirty and see how things work. That is specifically for a switchboard. If we go over to a, say, or redefine a panel board or another switchgear, we're going to see a little bit of different information, I believe. So let's redefine this as a panel board, and there are some more or less just some slightly different options. We still do have these column number and row space. However, in the equipment elevation for panel boards, I believe there was something different here. We'd have to pull them up side by side, but specifically we are going to see some slight differences between the panel schedules. It actually may just be the bus schedule that I'm mistakenly discussing here, but it's the buses have their own specific set of information, and the MCCs and panels, or MCCs, excuse me. So we could just define those here real quick. Looks like we have a main, 3 feeders and a tie. So let's keep these and do 1, 4. Let's see, these are row space. So let's make that 3, and then 2, 1, and 1. Go over here to the equipment elevation, and we see that our information's provided as we've defined it. So again, a really cool tool that you can take a look at. These are available as well to export, and you can print these as well. More or less, you're just going to come in here, you're going to create a PDF. If you want to have something on your computer that you can just send as an email, or you can print it out and include it in reports. So if I was to create a PDF here, we'll just save it on the desktop and take a look at that. So here's our panel board elevation, and then I have an MCC elevation view as well. So let's take a look at that side by side. So I do like these. This MCC is a little bit better defined right now, so it does look a little cleaner. But it really depends on how much effort you want to put into it, and that's really the basics of the schedules and switch or schedules for MCCs, panels, and switchgear, switchboard, and panel board. Next week, we do have Mike Cook coming in. He's going to be talking about the integration options in EasyPower for arc flash analysis. Actually, that reminds me, in these schedules here, actually that was right there. So in this information, we have the results for schedules. Now, if you want to include this in your schedule, you want to run your arc flash analysis or short circuit analysis in EasyPower. So what you end up having to do, though, for, say, any given specific item that you want to run, so select that bus, that switchgear, that panel or MCC. You want to come up here to fault buses, and you want to go into advanced, and you can fault and store your symmetrical faults, and you can fault and store your arc flash results. And when you come in here, we'll take a look at in the database again, save these temporary changes, and now we do have information in here. This will appear in your schedules when you do print those out. So let me print one to PDF as well here, and we can take a quick look at that before we move on. And so here you go with some of the printed information. It's going to appear a little bit better when you do export these to Excel, but they will include the information when you export them to Excel. They include this results for schedule or for your schedule, and that's definitely important information that you want to keep track of as well. So that's basically it for the day. If you do have any questions, let me get back into the PowerPoint here. If you do have any questions, you can give us a call. Again, it's here at support@easypower.com that you can reach us on email, and the telephone number is 503-655-5059. So if there's anything that I missed, if there's anything that you want to touch base on that I wasn't very clear about, please give us a call. Peter Marr or myself, Solomon Cooper, we can do our best to answer your call and help you out with anything that you're having difficulty with. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.